Do me one solid, buddy. You want to help me out?
Yeah.
Just because I figure you want to learn, I'm sure, right? You don't just want to watch. You probably want to do something.
Yes.
So, this here, you're learning this. So, on this one, I'm going to show you how this comes apart. So, basically, these bolts right here, they're all loose.
Yeah.
I just want you to run these bolts out. And if you need to, you can rotate this, but take all these bolts out and the brackets and just like set them in this bag, set them in this loader, whatever. And we're going to pop this out so we can modify the housing. I'll show you what we're doing to get all that done, okay? So you can pop those bolts out. So this car had, long story short, we're getting into the TSX and all my other stuff as far as like what I actually do, kind of showing you guys that versus just like compilations and a little bit of like car build stuff I do when I'm like on one doing like our parking lot, you know, building a drag car at home, or basically right now we're not in a shop. So I'm just kind of doing what interests me and working on my clients' cars and tuning. I'm mainly making stuff to fix problems, troubleshooting cars to fix problems, and tuning. And everything in between there, it's mainly just metal, wires, and laptop, you know, hands, me. It's not too elaborate right now as far as like building a motor. It's still like goes to the machine shop, we order the parts, come home, do our final hand fitment, filing the rings, check the hone, our measurements, put it together. I'm not in a shop right now, so the FAB is a little bit lighter duty. Granted, we have the TIG, we're making downpipes, turbo manifolds, intake manifolds, intercoolers, all that. It's just a little different pace. It's more of like a premier building thing right now, and that's kind of where I've been getting the company going, to where I didn't want to have like a shop and all this influx of clients and all this stuff going on just to pay the bills, to have the company to get somewhere and possibly not be able to race. I actually want to enjoy my car, race, and make good money. And other than that, I wanted to tune and fab to do it. So it's a weird idealization type change in my head as far as thought process and what I aim for and goal oriented towards and this and that, but that's where we're at. That's where everything's been headed. I'm basically happy I get to do whatever I want all day, and what I want to do is work on cars and go fast. I'm educating myself. I'm helping people. I'm learning stuff. I'm teaching stuff, figuring out things that I didn't know before, getting, you know, my outlook expanded, the way I think out of the box, you know, expanded. And yeah, pretty much just kind of advancing myself as a builder in person, rather than just going, oh, we work on these Civics and we do these swaps and looking what other people are doing or what parts are offered. I want to like, I have a product line, I make stuff, I test stuff and make new stuff, design it, whatever. I would like to actually not be, you know, copying or making another type of something somebody offers, this, that. What problems, what do we need? What things do we have to deal with? What would make things easier? Those are the types of products I want to start working with. So cars that maybe don't have support can get some support. This is just turning into more than me just building Hondas for my buddies or having a shop and doing builds on Hondas. I want to build cars. I want to do calibrations and tuning and wiring and all that stuff for cars, not just Hondas. Although my heavy interest and what I like mainly, you'll see future. We'll start talking about the TSX, the auto tranny stuff. You kind of see where I'm going. This is more so about this car, but I do want you to know that's why when we do these videos on these cars like this, give you a little preliminary information, give you the tuning session and us kind of go over what we did. There will probably be some shorts posted in between of the fab process. I'm going to go over what we're doing right now. I'm going to give you the lowdown. Me and him have been talking education, so he understands, you know, cars, turbochargers, how to work with things, what kind of problems he's going to have, rather than just being like, oh, it's a turboed Honda and this is how they are. No, this is how turbochargers are. This is how engines are. This is how fucking sheet metal and wires and a computer that just runs an engine, doesn't care what it is, works. I really hate the whole boxing and framing of Honda, Civic, you know, what company makes parts for this car. It's got a bolt-on and slight fab and we all have the same cookie cutter, and we're just getting away from that. So in this situation, this is not your typical Honda dude situation. For example, when they would swap turbos right now, they would probably just use the same oil line, shorten the return, which is probably what we're going to do. We're going to shorten the return because it'll sit a little lower. But flanges, might not have ordered them, have to figure it out, order them, da-da-da-da-da. Me knowing that this is what we do, that there's a little modification stuff, this, that, I basically keep in stock what we can use on all this shit. So rather than be the typical person that goes, hey, I bought a 35R from eBay, I have a Honda with the Rev 9 kit or whatever on it, and I'm going to put this turbo on, and then going, oh, the oil lines are different. Oh, the downpipe's different. This, that. Well, I know when I buy these turbos, they use a 4-bolt flange. We like V-bands. So we just started cutting the fucking 4-bolt off and welding a $20 V-band flange on and using a V-band for the downpipe. Then we're not buying a $20, $30 flange 4-bolt and locked into one position. We can rotate it. We have a TIG welder. We just weld it to the fucking housing, blah, 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 blah. So if this was like I got a Honda, say the manifold is a different bolt pattern than T3, you're going to go on eBay, you're going to buy an adapter flange. Now I'll just take a T3 flange and TIG weld it straight to the fucking cast manifold. It's not that Honda dudes won't do that. It's that most people don't have a TIG sitting there. And when they look at things, they go, oh, I need to go from T3 to T4. And then everybody online goes, well, I don't have a welder, so I just bought one. So they're going to go buy one. The difference is we can just kind of make it. So doing a V-band on this housing, doing a new oil line that's the proper oil line, most people are going to go, hey, I got this kit on eBay. Hey, I got this kit with it doesn't matter. That's some Honda shit. I got a Honda and they sold me a part and they told me to use this. I'm going to tell you right now, every single time you get a 4AN feed line with your turbo kit, whole set, Borg Warner, Precision, Cummins, Garrett, Pulsar, if I'm not mistaken, all of them, if not at one point in time, they all didn't say use a regulator, use a restrictor with this, that, the other. It straight up said journal bearing turbo, 3AN feed. As long as the car makes under 80 PSI oil pressure max, the volume that can flow through a 3AN line because the diameter being substantially smaller, pretty much keep your turbo from blowing. I put a 3AN on it every car and never had a turbo problem. And if I have, it's just like started smoking after a while, a little bit, wasn't bad. Every single time we've had a 4AN on a car, which is what everybody sells everybody, what everybody recommends, what everybody uses, and what everybody goes to, the car either seizes the bearings up in the turbo or blows the seal out still. So this is that like, Honda, what do you use? Oh, I turboed my Honda, everybody uses this, but it's almost like bad. It's almost probably not the right way to do it, because with the restrictor on here, technically you would need to have a gauge and a regulator and adjust it and then figure out what pressure you need and then put the restrictor in, because not every engine puts out the same oil pressure. So VTEC motor non, that's probably going to change the restrictor, this, that, when really this seal type design, like a ring, like a piston ring design, if it blows oil, doesn't go too long, doesn't, cook it and really glaze up that seal and this and that, it's a pressure seal. So it can blow oil, but you can fix the pressure side and stop blowing oil out the exhaust. Sometimes when they blow oil out the exhaust, they won't stop. But these are things, again, that, oh, I bought this turbo, these guys use it, I have these problems, this, that, the other. Some of that is like all these Honda dudes doing it this way, and it's not really the best way. For example, small, but still an example. When we do these kits, with this housing on here, with the cast manifold and his stock fan on that radiator, it would hit the downpipe and we'd have to trim the fan guard or move the radiator. That's not a big deal. But when I cut this off and TIG weld on a V-band, then I can lose about 3/4 of an inch off here, which is going to keep me from hitting the guard on there. It's tighter, cleaner fitting, and this is a $100 eBay turbo. So, I mean, come on. If it ever goes out, we just use this housing on the one we get to replace it. So, again, I don't want to over-talk it, this, that, but we got this car, which is most of our clients' vehicles, come in. The client needs a little bit of education. Maybe they know a lot and they're smart. They don't really need that. But the car setups are generally lacking in some way, shape, or form, or the way they're put together have some form of issue that would keep us from having not necessarily a successful tuning session, but a successful after fact of, post session. Him going home and enjoying the car every day, the tune not changing because of something else on the car having an issue, blah, 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 blah. So we went through this car and fixed all those issues that were inherent with it by basically somebody putting it together that just didn't care and was lazy and just didn't give a crap because they were probably flipping it. We went through and gave it the care and TLC that needed to bring it up to par. We found out the nut on the turbo was off the fucking shaft and the wheel was just sitting in there during tuning. So we're going to change to the 35R rather than put another 50 trim on there, because we'll get more into that as we get towards the tuning. But basically, these used to be big to us, these 35Rs. They're actually kind of small now, even for it's crazy to say, but a smaller B series or even possibly a single cam. We're using 62 mil turbos, better design, better tuning capability, better parts, hardware, software, all that, than we were when we were younger. We couldn't spool turbos like that. So these cast manifold 35R setups have actually worked well with us for years. The manifold does have a decent amount of back pressure because of the design, but it does have a very straight shot, and this turbo's a good size. It'll be a good match for that. I would recommend a runner manifold for that, but this will work fine for what we're doing. When the car got here, it had exhaust leaks. We obviously found the turbo failure. We found lines that weren't tight, wiring that was undone, causing check engine lights, which would have made it run weird. So we fixed all that last time, had that nut fell off. We're going to change the turbo now. This is going to take me 2 or 3 hours. We'll get hooked up for tuning, and I will be back to show you video of tuning, and we will kind of talk about the difference between the two turbos, but then I'll just end up tuning quietly the whole time and then doing pulse, so whatever. All right, well, we're going to change the oil line, put this turbo on, shorten the drain, make a new downpipe with the V-band on here, and then hook up the intercooler piping and go. So pretty straightforward. It is a straight turbo change with an oil feed line change, and then a downpipe. We're going to a new downpipe with the turbo. All right, I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right, you can let that go. All right.